kill me.
I'm the martial arts film freak, and I watched Furies.
Hãy để cho cái lũ khốn nạn đó hiểu được nỗi đau của chị em.
Ba đứa con gái mà sống vô đây đốt luôn chỗ này của tao.
Furies is a 2022 Vietnamese film released this year, 2023, in America on Netflix, and was directed by Veronica Ngo. For several years, I've just had no idea how to pronounce his name, so I was just type it out. Veronica Ngo. I genuinely have no idea, and I feel bad every single time. The movie also stars Veronica, as well as Tok Tien, Dongon Kyun. I'm just totally guessing on the pronunciation of that. Look, if anything, I feel like I'm fairly decent with most Asian names, but then you throw Vietnamese at me and I'm screwed. Rima Tan V, Tuan Nguyen, Song Luan, and Tan Nguyen Phan. I'm trying my best. Quick trigger warning, I guess, before I get into like the plot and everything on this movie, for sexual assault and all that other kind of things. This movie deals with some heavy subjects in a very direct way. The film is about Dong An Kyun's B character. Her name is B. As she is taken off the street, she's a victim of just some heinous crimes. She is a homeless person, constantly fending for her life, and she is found, discovered, saved, sort of, by Veronica Ngo's character, and is trained in some deadly martial arts, some deadly fighting styles, along with two other women, and their goal then becomes to take down a gang that is involved in sex trafficking, sex trade, just some all-around horrible people, with a few extra dark twists and turns along the way. I've been pretty excited about this one because it is a follow-up to Veronica's film Furie, which it's not a sequel at all. You know, I'd say it probably takes place like in the same, like, I guess, universe continuity possibly as this movie, but definitely not a sequel whatsoever, but I guess sort of a spiritual follow-up. Furies is a difficult movie to talk about. Genuinely, I've been sitting on this for several days. I watched it once in Vietnamese. I gave it a slight rewatch. By that I mean I sort of picked up a little bit under halfway through and sort of watched from there in English. And I've got very mixed feelings about this movie. First of all, just sort of get the ball rolling, get my brain moving. Let's just talk about that thing I said up top. This movie deals with some very, very dark subjects, some very dark themes in a very direct way. The movie opens on just, again, trigger warning for people who did not catch the first one. This movie just opens on a rape scene of a little girl whose mother is like not home. Her mother is, for lack of a better word, a prostitute. So a drunk guy comes over while she's cooking dinner. Mom's not home. He takes advantage of the little girl. Not good. It's kind of hard to watch. It's very hard to watch. And upon her killing this man and her house burning down in the event, she flees and grows up on the streets and has to survive there. And that's like that's the only one we see like kind of fully happen in the movie. And again, it's very hard to watch. We kind of see a few attempts later just to emphasize the fact that the bad guys are really bad. And speaking of those bad guys, they're the worst. Again, this is like a group that is involved in sex trafficking, like teenage girls and stuff, and like just to like seriously emphasize how evil these guys are. And really, you don't even need to emphasize it that much. Tell me that these guys are involved in sex trade with young girls, and I'm like, got it, they're the bad guys, I'm good to go, let's kill them, whatever. But no, this movie's like, oh, this guy raped this person, this guy did this guy did this. I'm like, I don't need to know. You're good, they're doing that evil crime, that's all I need to know. Stop talking, Jesus Christ. But on the opposite end, we do have our heroes, whose names I am not fully remembering, even though I watched this movie twice, again, in 2 different languages. Tan, B, and I think it was, I don't even remember the name of the third girl. But I enjoyed all of our heroes in this, even sort of our side characters. They have one guy on the inside of the gang who's like their informant. I even enjoyed his role to play. Like, there's this woman who houses them who's very sweet, and I really enjoyed her. I enjoyed all the different characters in this. They're all written fairly well, and that's really what you kind of need for this. Like, sure, you want to watch the action and the bad guys get taken down and all that, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything if, you know, our heroes don't have any personality, and they all bounce off of each other really well. You have the dark brooding type, you have the more playful, you have our main character, and you have the matriarch archetype. So all of that, the heroes, worked quite well. This movie also has this really cool blend of, like, I guess a sort of a style and tone where it's almost like this noir, like, thriller kind of deal. Not quite a mystery, because, you know, there's no mystery to it whatsoever, but it has this like detective noir kind of thing where you get this really cool narration from the main character B, sort of just her narrating her thought process on all these different things taking place. And it's weird, I didn't really appreciate it upon the first watch in Vietnamese, and then when I rewatched it in English, I kind of really got that more like noir thriller feel from that narration. It was kind of cool. It's I've never really had that experience of getting a different perspective on something just because I watched in a different language. Of course, typically watching something in a different language makes it a little bit funnier because the dub is so bad, but I actually really enjoyed the dub on this because it lended to that neo-noir mystery kind of feel. But let's get into the action, because that's what we all came for, that's what we're here for. The action in Fury was quite good, and I would say for the most part it carried over. I feel like there's not as much emotional weight as something like Fury, but I think it still worked quite well. The martial arts is a bit samey. It has this sort of street fighty feel, this freestyle mixed with some Kali. It's a little hard at times to pick out distinct styles, and that's mostly fine. Sometimes I do like to be able to find the styles in it, though. There is one fight that is a bit more kickboxing mixed martial arts between two guys. That doesn't really last super long. But I did enjoy whenever I could catch those moments of Kali, because I enjoy all the catching. I enjoy the trapping. So whenever I would see somebody trap with the knife and get an extra cut in or something, that's that kind of thing that I like. I like that little extra spice of being able to see the style in it. But also something Furies did that a lot of movies fail to do, and they try really hard these days. I think what really spurred people to want to take this perspective was Kingsman, Secret Service, especially the church fight scene. But in that movie, of course, you get the church fight in which like the camera's just kind of moving all throughout it. It's all single take. You feel like you're involved in it. And that's something this movie does really well. Even if it's not a single take fight scene, even if there are cuts, the camera's really in it. But the camera's not just in it in a way that's too close. The camera's like involved in the action. There's a little bit of a rumble with the impacts, which a lot of movies have tried to do and kind of failed. Something like Russian Raid tried to do that. It did not work whatsoever. But the movie understands its spacing. The camera understands its spacing. So you can be involved in the fight. You can get in close. You get those rumbles with the impacts, but it also doesn't feel like you're missing anything. Which, you know, that rumble aspect and all that, I feel like another movie that kind of messed up that was like an Accident Man 2. I think they kind of fumbled the bag a little bit on that one. But Furies, I think, nails it pretty perfectly. There is also a motorcycle chase scene in which it is very CGI heavy. You can definitely tell that they did not have a lot of space to work with. They got like 3 bikes. They just have like this narrow corridor of like green screen they're going by. But that being said, it's used very well. It looks really nice. The only thing that's a bit choppy is like at one point somebody goes for like a spinning back kick off a roof. Like they jump off and like to the ground spinning back kick. Very choppy CGI on the person, but human CGI is very difficult. All the background stuff, all the stunts they did for that stuff, I actually really enjoyed. The choreographies and the choreography on the bikes, I liked all of that. It doesn't, it's like glaring. Like it's definitely like, oh, that's some like green screen CGI stuff. But it fully worked within the tone and the setting of the film. And I enjoyed the finale quite a bit. It was a finale that I didn't see coming, which is always fun. My favorite one of those is always like Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear. You think the movie's over and there's one more fight scene. And that final fight scene always comes with a twist. You know, there's always a pretty decent twist to get you a good fight. I wish it could have been a bit longer, the final fight. I did still enjoy the twist of character change, you know, and it felt pretty well earned. The movie had worked itself up enough in the story and the character beats that the final little twist that led to the final fight scene, it was very earned, but it was so well earned that I wanted it to be longer. I needed something a bit more gratifying out of it, which I didn't quite get, but I still liked what I got. I'm going to wrap this up, and I am going to give Furies, let's go 3.75 Veronica Ngo's difficult to pronounce name with my stupid brain out of 5. 3.75 out of 5. I enjoyed this movie. I think the only reason it's not getting like a 4 or something is because I do struggle with my feelings for it so much. I had to watch it twice. Somehow watching it in English like changed my opinion on a few things, added some perspective and opinion on a few things. It's very interesting. I kind of recommend doing that with this movie. Watch it in Vietnamese and watch it in English. It's a strange one. I liked the action. I didn't love it, but I liked it, and I enjoyed the story enough. And it was very hard to watch in the first 20 minutes. First 20 minutes is when a lot of that heavy stuff is happening, and it was rough. But tell me your thoughts on Furies in the comment section down below. Have you seen it? Are you going to watch it? I recommend it. If you're still watching and you're not great with the heavy elements of the film, maybe skip the first 25 minutes. It's difficult. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there's the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak, Tristan_Glover on the Twitter, and Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Yes, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.